Appreciate it, Barry. It'll take just a second to get the Christian Motorcycle Association off of the back straightaway. So let's go ahead and meet our starting lineup for Pro Singles Heat Race number 1.
Here is Scotty Dubler with your starting lineup for Pro Heat number 1.
Pro Singles Heat Race number 1 on the pole from Brisbane, California, number 66Y, Dominic Calendres. In the number 2 starting spot from Warren, Oregon, looking for his first victory in the Pro Singles class, number 67M, Davis Fisher. In the 3rd starting spot, a former winner here at the Castle Rock TT, number 20M from Snohomish, Washington, that is Jake Lehman. Starting in the 4th starting spot, the last time we were up here in Washington, he won up in Elma, and he comes to us from Mount Gilead, Ohio, number 17F, Jared Vanderkoy. In the 5th starting spot on the front row from Warrington, Pennsylvania, 54A, Dan Bromley. And the last rider on the front row from Snohomish, Washington, number 24M, Jake Burton. Let's go back to row number 2, 74Z, Rodney Spencer Jr. 81P from Australia is Jace Castles. 23Z, that is James Monaco. 44E is Nick Armstrong. 50A, that is Joe Bromley. And the 15M, that is Taylor Massett. Let's go all the way back to row number 3. 23M is Nathan Wharton. 95Z, Austin Skaggs. 41M is Jeremy Lehman. And the 14Z, Chris McDougall. Those are the riders scheduled to start our first heat race. They will get 1 lap to check out the racetrack. Again, it's been a little while since we've had them on the racetrack, and so we're going to fire them up in just a second. This is heat race number 1 for the Pro Singles. The night looks like this for all of you fans that are here for the first time. Pro Singles heat races, there are 2 of them up first. They'll have 16 riders each. There'll be 8 laps of distance. The top 7 finishers out of the first 2 heat races will go directly to the main event. We will come back with 2 expert heat races. They will go 10 laps, and we'll take the top 6 riders out of those 2 heat races to the main, and the top 3 will go to the Dash for Cash. After our second expert heat race, we'll have our first scheduled intermission. Come back with our Pro Singles last chance qualifier, our expert Dash for Cash. 1 expert semifinal where we'll take the top 6, the final 6 riders to the Grand National main event. Our second scheduled intermission, and then we'll have our Pro Singles main event and our 25-lap Grand National main event. So the track is just about clear. They want to make sure everybody's off of the racing surface before we turn them loose. We got Pro Singles lineup, and the fastest rider of the night, ladies and gentlemen, is on the point in this one. He picked up $1,000 from Electro Inc. Special thanks to them. And Jack Scheffelbein putting up $1,000 to our fast qualifier, and it just happened to be in the Pro Singles class, and Dominic Calendres will choose the inside of the front row, and they're going to fire him up, and we're coming to life. So they get 1 lap to check out the racetrack, and then we'll stage him up and turn him loose with qualifying heat race number 1. All the bikes are fired up. They will get 1 lap to check out the racetrack. Pro Singles, 450 motorcycles. They started out their careers as 450 motocross bikes, and now they are dirt trackers. Doing things a little bit different for you fans that are at home. I'm actually standing outside at the top of the grandstand, so it's not very far up there, but I'm up here outside, so you guys will be able to hear the motorcycle noise all night long if you choose to. I think there's some other cameras where you might not be able to hear everything, but beautiful track. The sun is just setting. We got a really long front straightaway, a tight first corner, up and over a tabletop jump. Most of the riders are landing smoothly down the backside. A high banked right-hand corner, another short chute. Turn number 3 is a left-hander going uphill down the back straightaway into normal turns 3 and 4 on the short track, which is tonight is turns 4 and 5. So the fast guys have made their way back up here to row number 1. Once again, we'll take the top 7 finishers. We'll go directly to the main event. If you don't finish in the top 7 spots, you will come back in 1 last chance qualifier here in the Pro Singles. Staging them up, getting ready to turn them loose. Also, don't forget, we'll have 50-50 tickets here. They'll be walking around with the class of 79 and friends. Half the money goes to the winning ticket holder. The other half goes to the class of 79. All right, they're backing up the trophy girl. We're good on row number 3. We're good on row number 2. 10-second board is going up. Special thanks to the Harley-Davidson girls for being part of the Castle Rock TT. Here we go. 10-second board is up. The first red light is on. There are 2 yellow lights, and then we go green. It's race time in Castle Rock. First yellow is on. Second yellow is on, and we are green. Bromley from the outside gets the drive. Calendres gets chopped off, so it's Bromley and Calendres side by side into the first corner. They're going to be side by side up the jump. Calendres takes things over. Now Bromley's up the inside trying to hang on to the KTM. They're 2 wide for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It's your fast qualifier out front, Dominic Calindras, 66Y on the number plate. Last year's winner in the pro singles class. He's going to lead him down the back chute for the first time. Bromley in the 2 spot. We got room for 7 of these riders. Here comes your leader. It is Calindras. Calindras out front, Bromley in second. Rodney Spencer from the second row, I believe. That is the 74 up there. Rodney Spencer Jr. from row number 2 is up to the 3rd spot already. As they go up the jump, we got the 17 of Van de Kooi in 4th, Fisher in the 5th spot. Side by side for 6th and 7th. One rider went down over there in the tight left-hander. That's the 41M or the 44E, not sure. We'll get that figured out in a second. Out front, Dominic Calindras on the Honda, leads a KTM right there. Bromley in the 2 spot. It's Calindras, Bromley, Rodney Spencer Jr., Van de Kooi, Davis Fisher. And they bump back here behind them. Bumping and banging for 6th and 7th, actually, the last 2 transfer spots. 24M of Jake Burton and the 20M of Lehman. Both of them bumping and banging deep in the field. They all try to get to the front as soon as they can. Oh, Castles just about goes down in the right-hander. Grabbed too much front brake. Almost threw it away. Leader into turn number 3 on the short track. Normally it's turn number 4 here. Now he's in turn number 5. Coming back this way, it's Calindras out front. Calindras your leader. Bromley's in second. Battle is for 3rd spot. Rodney Spencer's got Fisher looking up the inside. Dash and Davis Fisher takes a look and takes over the 3rd spot. As they head up the jump, it is Calindras out front of Bromley. Davis Fisher now in 3rd. Rodney Spencer back to 4th. Behind them, it's Van de Kooi, Jacob Lehman, Jake Burton, your top 7 spots so far. 3 laps complete. Next time by Kevin Clark will show them the halfway flags as we'll be halfway through heat race number 1. Here comes Fisher up to 2nd place. Made it happen over there in the final corner. So Fisher got a terrible start. If he has one downfall, it will be off the starts. He's got a terrible one once again. He's working his way towards the front. It's Calindras out front. Fisher in the 2 spot. Bromley in 3rd. Rodney Spencer in the 4th position. Behind him, it's Van de Kooi. Van de Kooi has company on his rear wheel. Jake Lehman on the 20M trying to come to the front. Leader making his way out the final corner, heading back towards the front straightaway right here in front of the grandstands. It's Calindras out front. He's already put $1,000 in his pocket, looking to make it another 1,000. One rider off of the racing surface. Yellow flag is out. Now it's back in. Your leader just went over the jump. He's in the infield section on the Honda. That is Dominic Calindras, 66Y. He's headed up the back straightaway now. So it's Calindras at the point. Davis Fisher in the 2 spot. Dan Bromley 3rd. Rodney Spencer 4th. Jared Van de Kooi 5th. Jake Lehman 6th. And 7th is Jake Burton. 2 laps to go from Kevin Clark, our flagman. He will signal these riders all night long in different ways. He shows these riders 2 laps to go. Leader up and over the jump smoothly. Leader's headed up the back straightaway right now. He'll take it up the back straight. 66Y's Calindras. One rider just about ready to go a lap down. White flag's going to fly next time out for your leader. Here he comes. Dominic Calindras picks up the white. Leader's headed up the jump right now. 66Y of Calindras up and over the jump. 2nd is Fisher. 3rd is Bromley. There's a freight train behind Bromley. Rodney Spencer. Van de Kooi. Behind Van de Kooi is Jake Lehman and Jake Burton. That's how they finish right now. White flag out for one more rider. Checkered flag will be out for the leader. Here's the last rider picking up the white, and here comes your winner, ladies and gentlemen, 66Y, Dominic Calindras, your winner, heat race number 1. Davis Fisher takes a strong 2nd place. Bromley 3rd. Rodney Spencer 4th. Jacob Lehman in the 5th spot. Jared Van de Kooi drops the spot on that last lap. We'll give you the rundown in just a second. One more rider to pick up the checkered flag. Checkered flag out for the final rider. It's the 41M. That is Jeremy Lehman, but the winner's going to be headed to the victory podium. Let's give you a rundown. Dominic Calindras takes the win, 66Y. Davis Fisher will take 2nd on the 67M. 54A, Dan Bromley 3rd. 54Z, Rodney Spencer 4th. Jacob Lehman will take the 5th spot away from Jared Van de Kooi in that last lap. And your 7th and final transfer is the 24M. That is Jake Burton. And those are your transfers. Let's go trackside to the victory podium for the first time tonight.
Thank you, Scotty. Young man, from Brisbane, California. He's coming off of his best finish of 2014 at the Sacramento Mile, where he finished in the 4th spot. Barely missed getting on the box, but tonight, from the time they unloaded this machine, he has been the man you're going to have to beat here tonight. How about a Castle Rock Heat Race number 1 winner, Dominic Colindres? Dominic, tell us about your race.
Didn't get the best of start, but came out of turn 1 in first. But I saw Davis behind me, so I know he's going to be tough tonight.
What is it about Castle Rock that you love so much?
I really love any TT pretty much. The right-hander is a jump. It kind of separates the field a little bit.
Thank you, folks.
Yeah, I just want to thank my mom, my dad, Frankie Morris, Works Connection, Evans Coolant, Saddleman, Motorcycle Superstore, CP Pistons, Curl Rods, Bell Helmets, and Motion Pro, and everyone who came out here and supported me.
He came from Brisbane, California, and he has won Pro Singles Heat Race number 1. Make some noise, Castle Rock, for Dominic Colindres. I'll get you rear brake.
This is your starting lineup for Pro Heat 2.
Pro Singles Heat Race number 2 on the pole from Snohomish, Washington, 51M is Cole Fredrickson. In the number 2 starting spot from Salinas, California, 30Z, Bronson Bauman. Starting 3rd from Albion, New York, 94B, flying Ryan Wells. From Stockton, California, 99Y is Ryan Kearns. Starting 5th from Colbert, Washington, 90M, Wyatt Anderson. In the 6th starting spot from Bonnie Lake, Washington, 38M, Hunter Taylor. Let's go back to row number 2, the hottest rider on the circuit in the 77J, Kyle Johnson. 16M is Austin Helmholtz. 33P, Levi Mayer. 23Y, Ryan Foster. 17Y, Cole Crowley. And the 70M is Aiden Brown. Now all the way back on row number 3, the 24J, Brandon Wilhelm. 13C, Luke Baird. 63M, Dan Lowther. And rounding out your field from Gilbert, Arizona, 35G is Kenny Alderdine. Those are the starting riders in this second heat race for the Pro Singles. All the riders choosing their line, they have to go right there on the exact spot. They did something a little bit different. They actually added a little orange dot in each of the rows, and you have to be lined up on that orange dot. And you cannot cross that starting line because there's laser beams across each row. And if you go across there, that light will not turn from red to yellow to the green. So that's what happens down here on the starting line. It's very important. They're trying to get Anderson lined up on the 90M. He's also from Colbert, Washington. If you aren't here for qualifying practice, just remember the letter M is your Pacific Northwest riders from Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. So if you want to cheer for some local riders, keep your eyes on the letter M on these riders. So we're ready to go. Miss Harley Davidson put the 10-second board up. The bikes are in gear. Clutches are in. Here we go. Heat race number 2 of the Pro Singles. Top 7 to the main. First yellow light is on. Second yellow light, and we are green. From the inside is Fredrickson. Fredrickson will lead him into turn number 1. We got Anderson on the outside. Here comes a new rider taking over second. That's going to be Bauman. They're 4 wide for second place. 1 rider down in the first corner. Up and over. They're still racing. Andy Red is coming out. 1 rider's down. The bike is on top of him over there in the first turn. Red flag is out, so we'll shut them down. There are red lights all the way around the racetrack, and Barry Boone will explain that here in just a little bit as we slow down the rest of the riders. That is why we have red lights all the way around. They've already got them slowed down as they make their way back over here.
They do, and Kevin Clark always runs down towards the final corner. On the half miles and miles, he'll run a quarter mile sometime to try to give these riders an early heads up. But at the entrance of every corner, or not every corner on the TT, but on most of them, the LED lamps are computer controlled. They're Clearwater Lights as a manufacturer, and they are awesome. When the man up top side hits that red button, it is boom, it's instant on, and the riders immediately know when they get back it's going to be red. And they're instructed to come all the way back to the finish line, not to stop in place.
So the riders that went down are the 63. Let me see, the 63M is Dan Lowther, and the 16M, which is Austin Helmholtz. So a couple of Pacific Northwest riders going down. If they can rejoin us, they will go to the tail end of the field. So we know for sure the 63.
And I might add, while we're waiting, this is Kevin Clark. He's the international flagman of the Stars.
Okay, so sorry about that, Barry.
Nope, it's all good.
Go ahead.
And this is what he uses to start that race. It's got a green button on it, and when Kevin pushes that button, the computer takes control of the Christmas tree lights. And it could be a really short red, yellow, yellow, green, or it could be an excruciatingly long red, yellow, yellow, green. And sometimes you think it's never going to happen, but the computer's in control of about 115 different sequences that it can do, and he is the man that starts them off.
So what we're hearing on the AMA Pro radios, the 63 just stopped over there. He did not go down. He did not cause the red flag. That is Dan Lowther, so he's allowed to go back up to row number 3. The rider that we're waiting on right now is the 16M, and what he's doing is going to a backup motorcycle. They'll take the transponder off of the primary bike, put it onto the backup motorcycle, and looks like he is okay. Let's put our hands together for our down rider, the 16M Austin Helmholtz. He's okay. He's going to try to jump on that backup motorcycle.
And I might add to what you're talking about, Scotty, right here on the front stretch, right under the finish line, there's a line buried under the dirt that the transponder on the bike communicates with to keep up with lap times and all of that good stuff.
And they can watch that on their smartphones, their iPad, their iPod, whatever they have with them, as long as they have service. Go to AMA Pro Racing, and you can watch that. So we got a rider that's having troubles over here, row number 2. That's the 70 bike, also the 17 bike. That's the 17Y. That is 17Y's Cole Crowley, Fremont, California rider, trying to kickstart his Honda. He's a little bitty guy, so he's having trouble putting all of his weight into it. Now it is fired up. Now he's twisting the throttle. So we got one rider way back there on row number 4, and that is the 16M Austin Helmholtz. The rest of the riders are lined up. Here we go. Complete restart. Heat race number 2 of the Pro Singles. Top 7 to the main event. 4 rows of bikes now. Here we go. First yellow is on. Here comes the second yellow right about now, and we are green. That was a long light, just like Barry talked about. They have several different options. Fredrickson will lead him into turn number 1. Looks like Bauman, stacking them up, packing them up in turn number 1. Looked like Bauman went down first and caused a bunch of bikes to get tangled up with them. Bauman not too happy with something. He walks off quickly. Try to get our down rider sorted out. One rider still down over there in turn number 1 as the red flag does fly early. So that was the battle for second place, actually, when they all went down. So we're trying to figure out who all went down. Man.
38M was one of your riders. The 24, and I couldn't get the letter, is one of them.
24J, I believe that's Brandon Wilhelm, our Daytona short track winner.
63 right there. Couldn't see the letter.
63M, that's Dan Lowther. And we know Brauman's down on the 30. Actually, it's the 90 also. The 90M, that's Wyatt Anderson from Colbert, Washington. He actually went down in going into turn 1 a couple years back, and looks like all of them are headed back to the hot box, and they are allowed to jump to their backup motorcycle as long as less than 2 laps are complete.
And you know, Scotty, this track is it's a challenge for these world-class riders. I mean, these are the best flat track racers in the world, and our experts in our Pro Singles. These are the up-and-coming riders. Turn 1 is always difficult at any racetrack, but certainly here at Castle Rock because of the trajectory. And right there where they're going down is that really sharp where they call it the polar moment, where the bike really rotates to the left right there. And if you slow up a little bit to do that, the guy in the back can tag you, and boom, you got a chain reaction that's got 3 or 4 guys caught up in it. Always been a difficult spot here, and still is.
It's very tight over there. They're used to going all the way around that short track. It's a nice wide sweeping corner, but now you got to go immediately make a 90-degree corner and head straight towards that jump. So man, it's just really tight over there, especially in the first corner. We know all the riders that I talked to in opening ceremony said how important and how special it was to get a good start. There's the 38M Hunter Taylor. Looked like he jumped on the backup motorcycle. So they take the transponder off of their primary bike, put it on their backup motorcycle. So Hunter's doing exactly what he should be doing right now, is warming up his tires. Probably hasn't even ridden that motorcycle today, so trying to build a little bit of heat in that bike. So he'll go back to row number 4. And they're still talking things over on the radio of all the riders that went down, and we're still waiting on just a couple of them. But the 38M Hunter Taylor, 16M was already down, 24J is Brandon Wilhelm, 63M is Lowther, 30Z is Bronson Bauman. He was on the front row. He was one of the riders that got tangled up originally. The 90M was Wyatt Anderson. Those are the riders that are going to be all the way back in the penalty line, and that's going to be a really popular place. So I think what this is going to do too, Barry, is make a very exciting heat races. We have room for the top 7 finishers. So this gives Kyle Johnson a little advantage right now because he's back there in row number 2, but he's actually considered 4th on the straightaway or on the track because he's in row number 2. So this is a good break for our points leader, Kyle Johnson, who's won 4 main events in a row. Here comes another motorcycle. Looks like he's a little bit either dirty or missing the front number plate. I can't tell from up here, but and Bauman bringing the 30Z back out. So Anderson's actually looked like he's going to ride the same motorcycle. He's going to try to. He's got the front number taped onto the front of the 90M. He's making some adjustments, some fine-tuning with the front straightaway wall. 30Z, Bauman pulls up to the outside spots. Keep your eyes on this back. Actually has no front number plate, so this will be interesting. It's going to be fun to keep score. Good thing is he does have his transponder on. Here we go. Restart, heat race number 2 with a full back row. This one is going to get exciting. The 70 bike trying to get his bike fired up. That's the 70M of Aiden Brown, Federal Way, Washington, on the Clint Cluzel Jim Spear entry. He's trying to get his bike fired up. Matt Dayringer reaches out there trying to hold it so he can kick it. He's going to be tired before the green flag even drops. Here comes the starter to try to stick that in the side of the bike. Other side, Kevin. Other side. Nope, he's on the right side. I'm confused. Barry's the other side. See if the starter can fire this Honda up. Having trouble cranking it up. Don't forget they're selling 50-50 tickets. I saw John Winsowich roaming around. 50-50 tickets. Uh-oh. I just heard on the AMA Pro radios that these guys are not allowed to circle around, and 50M needs some help. They're going to try to bump start the motorcycle. That is the 70M Aiden Brown. And try to bump it started. Nothing happening. He's going to need some more friends, I think. Barry, you're back there on row number 4. What are you thinking back there? I mean, there's a lot of fast guys trying to come to the front.
I think I want to get in here and talk to Jake Burton from Snohomish, Washington. Are you all right after that little deal over there, and what happened?
Oh, I'm fine. I just got caught up at the wrong place at the wrong time. Didn't really go down, but
Wilhelm.
I don't know. Now we're stuck on the back. See if we can make something out of it.
All right, buddy. Good luck as you get back in there. I mistakenly called him by the wrong name. That is not who I thought it was. In fact, that's Jake, or Wilhelm is who it is.
Daytona.
Mistake the J from the M.
Daytona short track winner Brandon
Sir.
Wilhelm way back there in row number 4. So we're waiting on Brown to make his way back around on the 70M. Remember, the top 7 finishers will all go to the main event. Everybody else will come back in one last chance qualifier. We already eliminated 2 riders from the field earlier today.
And the back row is very, very crowded, Scotty.
I was going to say, how's he going to get up here? So he's got to zigzag through. Anderson missing the front number plate, but he's still out here racing. All right, here we go. Track's clear. Let's restart. Heat race number 2 of the Pro Singles. 1st through 7th to the main. Watch the first corner. First yellow light is on, second yellow light is on, and we are green right now. It's Wells and Fredrickson. Fredrickson's going to lead him into the first corner. Fredrickson and Wells 1 and 2 as they'll head through the 90-degree corner. Everybody makes it through the first corner. They made it through for the first time as they go into the right-hander now. Everybody jumping on the binders. They're into the front brake hard. One rider down in the right-hander. We're going to keep on going until we hear there's a red flag. So out front, it is Fredrickson grabbing the whole shot. That's the 63. It's just not his night so far. That went down again. That is Dan Lowther. Here comes your leader, bringing him off the final corner, headed back this way. Red flag is out. We got a couple more riders. 2 more riders over there in the left-hander after the right-hander, so they're getting themselves sorted out. So the 70 is one of them. Also, remember, the 63M went down first. That is Dan Lowther. The 70 and the 77J, that's our points leader that went down over there in that tight left-hander. So Kyle Johnson on the 70 and the 70M of Aiden Brown, I believe. So we'll figure that out. They're talking things over on the radio, but it is going to get crazy. So both of these riders did go down. They might have to go all the way back to the 5th row. I'm not sure. That 4th row is already pretty full, so I don't know what they're going to do. The rest of the riders make their way back around. Cole Fredrickson had the whole shot. There's the 50-50 ticket guy right there. That's John Winsowich, 50-50 tickets. He's right here in front of the announcer's tower. Hey, John, how are you doing? Anybody want to see 50-50 tickets? Half of the money goes to the winning ticket holder. The other half goes to help the class of 79 and friends, who helps any flat trackers that get hurt all year long. So far, they've already given away $24,000, which we don't want to give away money, but it definitely helps to have money in the bank. Reach in your pocket and dig deep. One fan's going to take home half the money. The other half will go to the class of 79 and friends. So look at row number 4. It is going to be packed. Now they're sliding the 77J up to the 2nd row. So I thought he's going back to the penalty line, but they let him go back to his spot. They said he did not cause the restart. Getting everything else figured out. 13C Luke Baird right there in the 3rd row. All right, track's clear. Let's try it one more time. I lost track of how many red flags we've had. Here we go. Heat race number 2, Pro Singles. The Christmas trees in the inside. The first yellow is on. Second yellow is on, and it's green. That one goes fast. Watch all these fast guys coming from the back row trying to get to the front in a hurry. Side by side for the lead is Fredrickson and Wells. Up the jump they go. It's Fredrickson. Look at him whip it over the jump. 17 of Crowley's right there in the 4 spot. Behind him is Kyle Johnson on the 77J. So far, so good for these riders. They've made it further than they made it before. Let's see if they can make it through the left-hander. They're bumping and banging. They're all still on 2 wheels. We're going to get the first lap in. Here comes your leader, bringing them off the final corner. Out front, 51M is Cole Fredrickson. Wells in the 2 spot. The 99 and 3rd is Ryan Kearns. Kearns in the 3rd spot so far. He's got company right behind him. Is Crowley on the 17 bike. California rider back there in 4th. 23 right behind him. They're side by side, Johnson and Bauman. Bauman from the 4th row has worked his way up to 6th, ladies and gentlemen, looking for some more. Top 7 make it to the main. You want to finish in the top 3, definitely to get on the front row. Behind Bauman is Johnson, so our points leader's back there at the tail end of the transfer spots. Fredrickson across the line, Wells in the 2 spot, Kearns, Crowley, Monaco, Bauman, Johnson across the finish line. Up and over the jump they go. It's a tabletop here this year. It is Fredrickson. 2nd is Wells. 3rd spot landing way out there on the flat. That's the 99Y, Ryan Kearns. Cole Crowley on the 17 bike in 4th. 5th is Monaco. I'm sorry, that's Foster. California rider 23Y, Ryan Foster. Bauman in 6th. Kyle Johnson's in 7th. Hunter Taylor's looking for a way through. Remember, you have to finish in the top 7 spots to keep on going, or you go to a last chance qualifier. Johnson trying to come up to the front. Johnson shows the wheel, takes over the 6th spot away from the 23. That's Foster. So now Bauman's up to the 5th spot. Johnson comes with him and takes over the 6th spot. Side by side battling for 7th. Hunter Taylor comes on through. Says, I'll take that final transfer spot. Next time by the halfway flags will be in the air for your leaders. Cole Fredrickson from Snohomish, Washington, doing it for Ride Motorsports Pro 1 Racing. 2nd spot, Ryan Wells was battling for the points lead earlier this season, slipped back just a little bit. Still up there racing for the points lead. Over the jump goes your leader. Keeping it low, up and over the jump is the 51M, Cole Fredrickson. They're lined up nose to tail from 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, all the way back, ladies and gentlemen, actually trying to sort things out. Bauman taking a look up the inside. Bauman takes over the spot from Crowley. Bauman up to the 4th spot from the 4th row. That is the man on the move. One rider off the track. That's the 70 bike. Aiden Brown, his day is done in this heat race. 70 bike off the track over there on the other side of the jump. Leaders starting to have some company. The 94B flying Ryan Wells starting to apply the pressure on the KTM GE Capital Motorcycle Superstore entry. Wells showing a little bit of pressure on the lead. Kevin Clark will show him the white and the green, pointed straight up at the sky. That's 2 laps to go. You can see him signaling the riders each time they go across the start-finish line. Up the jump. It's still 51M out front. 2nd is Wells. We got one slow over there in the turn 4 and 5 area. Leader's going to be coming towards him in just a second. So one rider off the pace. He has a rear flat tire. So a tough break for the 70. That's the 70M right there. That is Aiden Brown. White flag is out for your leader, Fredrickson on the 51M. Wells is right there trying to track down the leader. So it's Fredrickson, Wells, Kearns, Bauman, Kyle Johnson back there in the 5th spot. Up and over the jump they go. Into the left-hander, going to be heading on the normal back straightaway. Down there into turns 4 and 5. Here comes your leader. Got the whole shot, trying to pull off a win. 51M from Snohomish, Washington. Cole Fredrickson picks up the win. Wells in 2nd. Kearns in the 3rd spot. Bauman 4th. Johnson 5th. Hunter Taylor 6th. And Cole Crowley will take the 7th transfer spot. So we'll bring the winner back around. He'll meet my partner, Barry Boone, in just a second. All the rest of the gang will be headed back to the pit area. We'll see the top 7 finishers in the main event. But here's the rundown. 51M on the Honda, the Washington rider picking up the win. Ryan Wells 2nd. Ryan Kearns 3rd. Bronson Bauman from the 4th row to 4th. Kyle Johnson 5th. Hunter Taylor 6th. And Cole Crowley will take your 7th and final transfer spot. Ryan Foster, Anderson, Levi Mayer, Luke Baird, Brandon Wilhelm, Lowther, Helmholtz, Alderdine, and Aiden Brown rounds out your field. And now let's go trackside with my partner, Barry Boone.
His prior best finish this year, he's only running a few rounds. He was 5th at Grace Harbor Raceway. He's one of yours, ladies and gentlemen, from Washington State. Give it up for Cole Fredrickson. Great race, Cole. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, it was a great race. You know, it took a while to get things going, but we got them going. And thanks to you guys at AMA, you know, got things rolling nice and smooth. And it was a good race. I've been going good today, and I hope to keep it going for the main event.
Had a bunch of restarts, but now you're front row of the main. Good luck.
Thank you.
Want to thank some people?
I'd like to thank Rob McGuire, my mom and dad, the Lehman family, Smith Optics, Bell Helmets, Ride Motorsports, and everyone for coming out. Thank you.
All right, Cole Frederickson says, I'm ready to go to the main. Good job.
For the first of 3 expert heats, here's your starting lineup for Expert Heat 1.
Expert heats tonight. We only have 2 heat races. We'll take the top 3 to the Dash for Cash, and the top 6 will go directly to tonight's main event. On the pole from Crystal, Michigan, on the Kawasaki, number 17, Hammer and Hank, Henry Wiles. Starting second pick on the line, second spot on the line, I should say, from Salinas, California, riding the Honda, number 14, Briar Bauman. Third spot on the front row on the Yamaha from Graham, Washington, number 7, Slammin' Sammy Halbert. And right beside him, makes his home now in Salinas, California, the older brother, 69, that's Jethro Halbert. Last year's winner will be starting 5th on the front row from Godfrey, Illinois, number 23, Jeffrey Carver Jr. And last pick on the front row from Clio, Michigan, the jammer, number 9, Jared Meese. Let's go back to row number 2, number 27, Robbie Bugs Pearson. Number 2, Kenny Coolbeth Jr. Number 60, Eric Beers. 74, Scooter Vernon. 73 is Dougie Fresh, Doug Lawrence. And the 91, Mikey Martin from Acampo, California. Those are the riders scheduled to be in expert heat race number 1. Once again, top 3 to the main. Top 3 go to the dash, and the top 6 all go directly to tonight's main event. We've got a little orange dot right there on the front row in every spot where these riders are supposed to be lined up. They told them about it during the riders meeting, a little bit of change that we have, so they're lined up and ready to go. Expert heat race number 1 is on the line. Top 3 to the dash, top 6 will all go directly to the 25-lap Grand National main event. Pick your favorite rider and cheer them on. We got 2 Halberts out there in the middle of the front row, both from Washington. Jethro makes his home in Salinas, California now. 10-second board is down. First yellow light is on. There's the second yellow light, and now we are green. It is Carver from the outside trying to shut the door, and does. Carver will lead him into 1. He brings with him the number 9. That's the jammer, Jared Meese. Up the jump, it's Jeffrey Carver, Jared Meese, Sammy Halbert, Henry Wiles back there in 4th, Jethro in the 5th spot. Oh! Sammy goes down in the right-hander, trying to use that banking. Looks like the front end went up and over. Now he's at the tail end of the field, keeps the bike running. We'll watch Sammy Halbert see what kind of speed he has coming from the back of the pack towards the front. Out front, it's the 23, Jeffrey Carver. 9 of Meese, 17 of Wiles. Jethro Halbert on the 69 bike. Eric Beers out there, number 60. He's worked his way up to 5th from Orting, Washington. And there's Sammy Halbert, kept the bike running. Says, I don't want to restart. I'm going to try to catch up to him. Briar Bauman trying to come to the front. He moves up the inside of Beers, loses a little bit of traction right there in the right-hander after the jump. Halbert reaching up there, making some adjustments to his Yamaha. Looks like his front end is locking up a little bit on him, so Halbert might take it back to the pit area. Nope, he's going to keep on going. So it's Carver out front. Meese in the 2 spot. Wiles in 3rd. And now Halbert does pull the 7 off. Halbert pulls the 7 off, and he's having problems with the front end. Look at Bauman trying the inside of Eric Beers. Bauman trying to take over the 5th spot. Every spot very important. The further up you finish, the better starting pick you'll have in the main. Sammy Halbert will come back in that 1 semifinal a little bit later on. Let's go back out front. He won here last year, picked up his first Grand National victory. 23, Jeffrey Carver Jr. doing it for Carver's Barbecue. Most families watching at home at fanschoice.tv. Jared Meese right there in the 2 spot. Henry Wiles, our fast qualifiers, back in 3rd on the 17 Don's Kawasaki entry. Jethro Halbert right now in the 4th position. Bauman in 5th and Eric Beers in 6th. Remember, top 6 will go directly to the main event. Top 3 will go to that Dash for Cash. Carver out front on the 23 bike. Meese sets his sights on the leader. There is Carver Meese. Wiles now in the 3rd spot, tracking down Meese right there for 2nd. Meese, your 2012 Grand National champion, has Wiles all over his back tire. Look at Wiles jumping all the way down to the flat on the jump. Wiles trying to catch up and take over that number 2 spot. So it's Carver taking him up onto the back straightaway here at Mount St. Helens Motorcycle Club. 2nd is Meese. 3rd is Wiles. Fourth is Jethro Halbert. Fifth is Briar Bauman. Sixth right now is Eric Beers. Halfway flags are in the air. Heat race number 1 for the Grand National Experts. Up the jump goes Carver, number 23. 23 starting the 5th spot, doing it for Carver's Barbecue. Dan Ryder and Motion Pro on that Honda. One of the FBI, the Fast Boys from Illinois. Now here comes Bauman. Bauman takes over the spot away from Jethro Halbert. So Breyer's on the move on the 14 bike. He moves up to the 4th spot. He knows how important it is to get to the Dash for Cash also. So he'll be trying to make his way up to that 3rd spot. Top 3 will keep on going to that Dash. Top 6 will go on to the main event. Up and over the jump, it's Carver. Here comes Wiles. Wow, he let it hang out over the jump. Wiles trying to come to the front. Wiles getting tired of looking at Meese's back, I guess. Here he comes up the inside as they head up the back straightaway. Wiles and Meese. Meese takes a look over his shoulder. He sees the big 17 is there. I'm talking about the battle for 2nd place as Carver's pulling away. Carver across the line. Now Meese, Wiles, Bauman, Jethro Halbert, and Eric Beers looking to make his first Grand National main event of the season. Watch Wiles over the jump. Now this time he keeps it low and gets it back on the ground early. Trying to show a wheel up the inside of the right-hander.
Scotty Hammer and Hank Wiles might be trying to get into that Dash for Cash here tonight.
He is right now.
And he is right now because we're taking 3, right?
Absolutely. So that's what he's trying to get there, get a better starting pick on the lines, what he's trying to do. He's applying the pressure as 2 laps are in. 2 laps to go for the field. Look at Wiles is trying to go around the high side, going into 1. He sets him up. They're going to come up the jump. Watch Wiles on the 17. He keeps it low. This time he tries the high line. He hasn't done that all night. He's going to rail the corner. Look at the speed he's going to carry, and he's going to shoot on by the 9 of Meese. He used the high line, and it worked. And look at that. Bauman comes with him. Bauman's going to make it to the Dash for Cash, and we come to the white flag next time by. I think Wiles just found a line, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes the white flag for Carver. Wiles, Bauman, watch the battle for 3rd. Bauman takes a look over his shoulder. He knows he's in the Dash for Cash. He can keep it on 2 wheels and keep Meese behind him. Here comes Meese, he's going to hang it out over the jump. Meese takes back over the 3rd spot. Bauman up the inside. They're nose to tail, handlebar to handlebar now, side by side. Bauman takes a look back over his shoulder, trying to square it off. Watch the battle for 3rd. That's the final transfer to the Dash as the checkered flag is going to come out. Man, we waited till the last lap for all the action. Here comes the checkered flag. Carver picking up the win. Wiles, Meese, Bauman, Jethro Halbert. Eric Beers goes to the main. Man, somebody found a line. So let's go through the rundown. Jeffrey Carver, last year's winner, pulls off the heat race win by 1.2 seconds over Henry Wiles, taking the 2nd spot. What a ride through that right-hander for Wiles. Meese will take the 3rd and final transfer to the Dash for Cash. 4th will be Briar Bauman on the 14. Jethro Halbert will get 5th. Eric Beers makes it to the Grand National main event on the number 60 bike. Kenny Coolbeth, Robbie Pearson, Scooter Vernon, Mikey Martin, Doug Lawrence, and Sammy Halbert will all be coming back in 1 semifinal here tonight. So there's Jeffrey Carver. He's pretty excited. He's headed to the victory podium. Barry?
Hey, Castle Rock, how'd you like that, TT? That is good stuff right there. This young man comes from Godfrey, Illinois. He is now becoming one of the senior members of the FBI, the Fast Boys from Illinois. He's ridden 4 different bikes into twins that he's borrowed and begged to put together. He's been looking forward to Castle Rock. He won it last year. Give it up for your first expert heat winner, Jeff Carver. Jeff, great race right there. You got out front and made it happen.
Yeah, thanks. I'm so stoked to be back here at Castle Rock. Have a great time here. I really feel like these TTs are my thing, and I like hitting the marks. This is just like a hometown track back in Illinois, and I really love it. Thanks, guys.
All right, some people you want to say thanks to?
Yeah, I really got to thank George Mack. He let me ride the bike last year. I ended up buying it from him, and it works out great. Carver's Barbecue back hometown. That's my dad's barbecue joint. Motion Pro, they make a lot of really, really good racing tools and stuff, using them all day out there working on the bikes. Saddlemen, Light Shoe, Race Tech, everybody out there, the AMA coming out here, picking out really good racetracks. Thanks, everybody. Really excited for it tonight.
One more time, Castle Rock. Give it up for national number 23, Jeff Carver.
here is how we will start them in expert heat race number 2.
Just like the last one, top 3 to the main, top 3 to the dash, top 6 to the main event. From San Jose, California, on the pole, number 54, Mikey Rush. From Philpott, Kentucky, originally from Washington, number 95, J.D. Beach. Starting third from Fremont, California, national number 49, the California kid, Chad Coase. Right beside him from Salinas, California, number 80, Stevie Bonzi. From Coatesville, Pennsylvania, number 5 is Jake Johnson. And rounding out your front row from Eatonville, Washington, your Grand National champion, number 1, the Bullet, Brad Baker. Let's go back to row number 2, your Saddlemen Seats and Saddlebags Rookie of the Year leader from Meade, Washington. 16 is Wyatt McGuire. 42, Brian Smith. 44, Brandon Robinson. 11, Scott Baker. 65, Corey Texter. 96B is Cody Johncox from Attica, New York. That rounds out your field. I believe they just said somebody asked for 2 minutes. I'm not sure who we're waiting on for. Looks like they're all out there to me, so we're ready to go. They're going to turn them loose, so keep your eyes on the poles that are inside the front row. Mikey Rush, he's a 2-time Daytona short track winner. He would love to win a Grand National TT. Also, J.D. Beach, a full-time road racer, part-time flat tracker. It's the first time we've seen him this year on the Yamaha 95. J.D. Beach on the Vans Yamaha TJ Burnett Farms entry. Here we go. Heat race number 2 for the Grand National experts. Top 3 to the dash. Top 6 to the main event. Here we go in Castle Rock. Light is green. It's Johnson from the outside. Mikey Rush from the inside. Rush will lead him into 1. Rush has his hands full. They're 3 wide for second, third, and fourth. Some of the riders didn't make the corner. Here comes the Bullet. Brad Baker comes over and takes over the 2 spot. Johnson says, not so fast, young man. Johnson now slides back to 4th. J.D. Beach in the 3rd spot. Out front, the rider with the hole shots. The big 5'4", 54 on the number plate. That's Mikey Rush, ladies and gentlemen, from California. 54 from San Jose, California, leads them off of the final corner. It's Rush, Baker, J.D. Beach, Jake Johnson, Stevie Bonzi. Wyatt McGuire's in the 6th spot as they cross the start-finish line for the first lap. Look at Rush throw it down over the jump, keeping it low. Baker in 2 spot. J.D. Beach actually gets on the front brake so hard the rear wheel comes off the ground. Back here in 3rd. Trying not to run over Brad Baker. Back out front, 54. Casio Rush Racing entry. Tuned by Ronnie Brown out front. It's the big 54. Mikey Rush. The 1, that is Brad Baker. 95, J.D. Beach, those are your top 3. Behind J.D. Beach, it's Jake Johnson in the 4th spot. Stevie Bonzi 5th. Wyatt McGuire in the 6th spot. Brian Smith, our Grand National points leader, in 7th. Corey Texter 8th. Cody Johncox, Scott Baker, Brandon Robinson, and Chad Coase round out your field as we have 2 laps complete of expert heat race number 2. After this one, we'll have our first scheduled intermission. Here's Rush bringing them off the final corner. Baker and Beach battling for 2nd and 3rd as they go into the first corner. J.D. Beach getting tired of following. He tries the high line. Now he ducks it into the bottom. They're almost going over the jump side by side. Here comes Beach. He has to grab a handful of front brake. They get slowed down over here. So out front, Mikey Rush starting to pull away just a little bit. Last time by, he was out front by 1.4 seconds. Baker's in the 2 spot. Look at Jiggy Dog. J.D. Beach shows the wheel on the Bullet, Brad Baker. Talking about the battle for 2nd and 3rd place. J.D. Beach trying to come to the front. Johnson back here in 4th still. He's got some breathing room. Bonzi in 5th. And Wyatt McGuire from Meade, Washington, our Rookie of the Year. Here comes Beach trying the inside again on Baker. Going back to battle for 2nd and 3rd spot. Now he gets some wheel spin. Gets into some powder down there in the inside of that right-hander. Trying not to follow the leader, or the guy in 2nd place, the guy in front of him. Looking for the fast way around. Way out front now, Mikey Rush, 54. Baker in the 2 spot. J.D. Beach getting tired of following. He goes back to the high side going into 1. Jake Johnson's loving this. He's starting to catch up to the 2nd and 3rd place rider. Up the jump they go. J.D. Beach leaves it on longer this time. He lands right beside him. Oh, and Beach goes down. Beach goes down. He gets back up, keeps his Yamaha running. He's going to still try to make the main. He goes back to the 6th spot. So he's still in a transfer spot after following down. Man. Tough break for J.D. Beach. Back out front's the 54 of Rush. 2nd now is the Bullet, Brad Baker. 3rd is Jake Johnson. That puts him into the dash for cash if they were to end right now. Up the jump is the leader. 54 on the number plate. Mikey Rush. 2nd is the Bullet, Brad Baker. Johnson was watching all that in front of him, and now he puts himself into a transfer to the dash as we got room for 3 of them. Johnson in the 3rd spot. Bonzi's in 4th. Last time by is Wyatt McGuire in 5th, and Brian Smith was shown in the 6th spot. So our Grand National points leaders in the 6th and final transfer spot. keep your eyes on the 95 and the 42 battling for that transfer. Jiggy Dog goes back to work on that Yamaha. He's back there in 7th and needs to pick up one more spot. 54, your leader, headed to that tight left-hander as he makes his way up to the back straightaway. Goes uphill into that left-hander. Leader coming around this time by will pick up the 2 to go sign. 2 laps to go for the 54, Mikey Rush. Two laps to go, Rush on the 54. Baker in 2nd, Johnson in 3rd, Bonzi's in 4th. Behind Bonzi's Wyatt McGuire and Brian Smith. That's your top 6. Baker's got a lap and a half remaining to get to a transfer spot. If not, he's coming back in the semi. Leader's already in the corner. Here comes the 54, Mikey Rush. White flag is coming out for 5-4, Rush. 2nd is Baker on the 1. Jake Johnson in the 3rd spot. Those are your transfers. 4th is Bonzi. Here comes the battle for 5th and 6th. Wyatt McGuire goes back up the inside and takes over the 5th spot. Here comes JD Beach he passes 2 guys in the first corner. He's going to put himself in a transfer. Watch the battle for the 5th and 6th spot. Leader up the hill on the back straightaway. Chad Coast picks up the white, but here comes the winner to pick up the checkered flag, a fellow California rider. 54, Mikey Rush picks up the win. Baker's going to take the 2 spot. Johnson will take the 3rd final transfer to the dash. Man, a lot of things happen in a hurry out there. We'll give you the rundown in just a second after the last bike passes. So after this quick interview, we're going to take our first scheduled intermission. Here we go. Mikey Rush takes the win by 3.6 seconds. Man, he dusted the field. Brad Baker gets 2nd. Jake Johnson will take 3rd as Chad Coast comes by to pick up the checkered flag. So those top 3 go to the dash for cash and to the main. Stevie Bonzi will take your 4th transfer spot. 5th will be JD Beach on the 95. Wyatt McGuire will take the final transfer spot. So Brian Smith, our Grand National points leader, will be headed to a semifinal a little bit later on. So again, after this interview, we'll take our first scheduled intermission. And let's go trackside first with Mikey Rush in the 54.
Thank you, Scotty. Yeah, and we will have a special presentation coming up during this break. But right now, our focus is on this man from San Jose, California. He's a single-cylinder specialist. Ladies and gentlemen, he has put it on him here tonight. Give it up for national number 54, Mikey Rush. Mikey, great ride, man. You just got out front and did it.
Thank you very much, man. I can't say enough to my team, Ronnie Brown, Jimmy Wood, man. You guys put a good horse under me and good handling machine. I'd like to thank Casio Rush Racing, Dave Casio. He couldn't make it out this weekend with us, but we're trying to put on a good performance for him. But yeah, bike's handling great. I'm feeling good today. It's been a while since I won a heat race, I think since '07, so I'm pretty happy about that.
We haven't seen you since Daytona. Now you're front row of the main. You're in the dash for cash. Hey, it's started off well for you here tonight, Mikey.
Yeah, again, I got a good handling motorcycle. Ronnie Brown, man, he does so much for me during the week, and this guy, I couldn't do it without him. I wish we got together a little sooner, but it's awesome to have good people around us. And Jimmy Wood, my good buddy from Race Tech, man, he helps out so much. My wife for coming out and putting up with me at the races all the time, and everyone, GP Sports, Casio Rush Racing, Work and G2 Throttles, Motorcycle Superstore, X-Brand Goggles, just everyone. Good. Rod Lake Racing, a big thanks to Rod Lake Racing. I couldn't do anything without him.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen, your expert heat number 2 winner right there, national number 54 from San Jose. Give it up one more time for Mikey Rush. Great ride tonight for Mikey. And now, Scotty, as we get set to send the fans to wherever they're going, it's break time. We've got a little 10-minute break in the action here. We have a very special presentation by Ray Knight coming up in just a couple of moments.
Don't forget to stop by the Red Trailer. That's the official souvenir stand of the AMA Pro Racing. They've got a lot of shirts. They've got some previous race shirts on sale at a discounted price, and concession stands open. The line is forming down there. Don't forget to get your 50-50 tickets. Half the money goes to the winning ticket holder. The other half will go to the class of 79 and friends. So a special presentation. Let's go trackside. I believe they're just about ready. Not quite yet. So.
Yeah, we'll hand the microphone off to our good buddy Ray Knight. Mr. Knight, it's all you.
Thank you once again, Barry. It is my great pleasure to introduce a group of gentlemen that back in 1957 were a part of the group that had the foresight and the fortitude to get involved with this property and create what we now call Castle Rock Race Park. I'd like to welcome these gentlemen up on stage. First gentleman up is going to be Mr. Stan Johnson. Of course, Mount St. Helens Motorcycle Club been in existence for a great number of years. This track has gone through a number of configuration changes. Of course, back when Mount St. Helens decided to do her thing, covered this entire facility with ash, the original TT course here at Castle Rock was totally buried. There have been different layouts since, to the point where it's evolved today, but back in the day when these gentlemen and their associates stepped up, decided it was a great place to build a motorcycle track, and I'm going to let them kind of fill us in a little bit. Mr. Stan Johnson, can you tell us a little bit about how this facility came to be?
Well, it started out with a whole bunch of guys that liked riding motorcycles, and I think it first started up at Tootle out in the cow pasture.
Okay, and at what point did you guys get the ability to move on to the Cowlitz County Fairgrounds here where we enjoy the racing now?
Well, I think it was in 58, but I'm not sure. 57, somewhere in there.
Okay, that was the number I heard, 1957, so we'll stick with that. That was a good year. So, okay, a car track in here, absolutely. Next gentleman, Francis Franklin. Now, Francis, it sounded like you were a pretty active guy. Actually, we've been racing here since Wednesday night, and I got to tell you, I had 3 different people approach me wanting to know if I knew the whereabouts of Francis Franklin, that you were apparently one of the notorious group that helped make this thing happen, and a guy that put a lot of hard work in out here.
You're right. Along with Dick Kretz and Reister and the fair board over town, that we got this thing going from nothing to what you see now. Of course, it got wiped out in '80, but we brought it back, and with a lot of help from Northwest, everybody, Oregon, Washington, Idaho people would help us out a lot.
Well, it's great. I, as a flat track fan, am deeply indebted to you guys for what you have brought us here, building a racetrack from scratch, a huge job, being able to maintain one and rebuild one after the disaster that happened during Mount St. Helens, something else. Now, Mr. Melvin Smith, you're down here on the end. What was your involvement in the creation of this facility?
Being young, a lot of fun.
And a little extra energy, maybe?
A lot more now.
Okay, well, once again, we certainly thank you. And Ron Wend, you were involved since the inception out here. You got any special recollections that you can share with everybody?
Well, we used to come out here every night after work and on weekends building this track. And I can remember when there was no lights or nothing, and we put in the lights, put the poles in, put the lights in, but there was a lot of help from other folks, you know.
Well, I guess probably maybe the best way to describe it, it was a labor of love for all of you guys because you love the sport of motorcycling, and this facility was something that you all dreamt about. And I happen to know that you guys carried a close association with the Sidewinders Motorcycle Club down in Clackamas. Always heard those guys speak very highly of the crew up here at Castle Rock. It was a great relationship. Everybody pulled together in the same direction, and it is certainly wonderful to have you all up here. Can we have a big round of applause for our founding members of the Mount St. Helens Motorcycle Club?